In this world, the moon is going to undergo a mutation. This will cause the temperature to rise above 100 degrees. The surface becomes so hot that the power plants explode because of the heat. You can't walk outside for more than 20 seconds before being completely melted. And the asphalt is so hot that if you touch it, you melt. With the whole world unable to leave their homes, supplies became the most valuable thing, and our protagonist survived for 5 years with his girlfriend. However, as soon as his supplies started to run out, she sent a guy to kill him and betrayed our boy. But now, 5 years back in the past, before everything started, he has the ability to stockpile food and resources, and in this life, he will wait for 3 billion resources, and swears he will be the cruelest person to take revenge on everyone. But at this moment, our boy is on the bus where people are talking about how Mount Fuji experienced an earthquake that killed dozens of people, and now their city also has to be evacuated. The girl in the pink dress says they had to leave in such a hurry that she didn't even manage to buy any supplies. The two guys warn her. All the supplies from the surrounding cities mysteriously disappeared. The shaved-head guy next to them says the same thing happened at Doming Lake in the city of Shun, and also at the Daredon warehouse. The girl gets scared. Calm down, that entire amount disappeared. It must be worth billions. That's when, from behind everyone, our protagonist says it's actually worth trillions, and that the disappearance of so many supplies, along with this pile of natural disasters, shows that something is going on. It's best to stay alert. The girl asks him if this might be the end of the world, while the guy in the green shirt says he's excited. He can't wait for people to be treated equally. But our protagonist thinks, truly equal at the end of the world. There was never a day when life was equal, especially since he personally experienced that. In his past life, he was just an ordinary delivery guy, until suddenly the apocalypse began. Heat waves hit the entire Earth. The tectonic plates shifted, and creatures that were hidden in the core emerged to the surface. The whole world changed overnight. In this new world, there was a new order in a world of extremes. Case 6. Even simple supplies like instant noodles were worth millions, and a sausage was enough to buy any kind of favor in that world. Everyone gave up on normalcy, and now, after everything that happened in his life, he was reborn. 1 month before this started, the girl in the pink dress clings to him and says she is kind of scared. Could he? But before that, she replies saying she has more important things to do, and she stays there, kind of not understanding anything. Outside the bus, he wonders, in the apocalypse, what is most important? Obviously, supplies and resources. In his past life, he spent all his time searching for that, but this time, he will prepare in advance. He works at this Walmart, and at the moment, the boss is saying that his salary will be cut. He says it's okay and apologizes. He remembers that in the first apocalypse, when everything started, the boss of this place took all the supplies and ran away. So now, as compensation, he will take that for himself. He then opens his warehouse. The system starts detecting all the supplies nearby and switches to the spatial space, where he has a huge area with a dimension of more than 10,000 meters. As long as he wants, this ability can store anything. With this ability, he has been stealing even water from lakes and taking all the supplies from cities that are going to be destroyed. Especially since if instant noodles are worth that much, imagine real food. The best part is that time there is frozen. That means the food stays perfect, no matter how long it stays there. Finally, he won't have to eat dirt like in his last life. The system even shows how many resources were acquired in this activation. And he feels that after taking so much stuff, he is finally calm. At that moment, 3 guys from work enter the warehouse, but it is completely empty. With our protagonist standing in the middle, they ask him where all that went. Our boy reveals that he took everything. The boss says he has no idea how he did that, but he tells the other 2 to catch him. However, the moment they get close, he takes a step back and just vanishes. They are left not understanding where he went. But he simply appears outside. This is his second ability. The spatial jump. Using his spatial power, he can teleport up to 3 meters away. With this, he can fetch supplies much more easily and still escape calmly. He takes off his uniform, saying the collection is complete. He receives a message on his phone from the authorities, warning that the Earth is experiencing strange movements, and everyone should be cautious because some disaster might happen. However, there's no need to panic. Our protagonist is confused. Nothing has really started yet, and they're already saying this. Could they somehow know the future? At that moment, he receives a call from his girlfriend, Jean Xiaoqing. He sighs and answers. She scolds him, asking how he had the nerve to put their house up for sale. Does he think she is stupid enough to really stay with him? If he sells the house, he needs to be more responsible, like a man. Even though she doesn't want the house, she is still a woman, and he wants to prove to her that he is a real man. Why doesn't he give her a little security by handing over this house? The sushi, our protagonist, says only that. She says, what kind of attitude is that? If he hands it over, she will give him another chance. He just needs to transfer the documents to her. If he doesn't do that, he doesn't even think about marrying her. But Sushi hangs up without saying anything. He remembers that during the last 5 years in the apocalypse, he went out every day to hunt for supplies to feed her. He even took her to one of the safe zones. If it weren't for him, she would have starved to death in the first few days, but even so, then he remembers a day when he returned home and was killed from behind. All because he wasn't bringing as many supplies anymore, and they wanted to know if he was hiding something. After Sushi was killed, they had fun next to his body, and telling Kian that Sushi died because he was a useless incompetent. And this guy better prove he's not so incompetent. Sushi was destroyed after trusting someone like that for so long, but in this life, I think Kian and that guy named Wong will pay the price and won't die easily. The pain he felt, they will feel 100 times more. He calms down and remembers that the things he needs now can only be bought with money, but first he needs to get that money. He then calls a guy named Liu and says he's selling his house for half the price. But he wants the money now, right in front of the real estate agency. Wong and Xiaoqing are waiting for him when he shows up. Xiaoqing scolds him for making them wait so long, but he just ignores her and walks past. Wong asks who allowed him to sell that house, and if he does anything else, he won't see the sun tomorrow. But at that moment, Sushi, who has had survival skills for so long, grabs him by the neck and throws him to the ground, saying he does whatever he wants with his things. I thought I would be scared by this and would jump in to stop him, but she also gets a cheek slap and falls to the ground in disbelief. On the ground, Wong is begging him to let go, saying he's almost dying. Sushi tells him not to worry, since he won't die that easily. Then he lets Wong go, who stays scared on the ground, while Sushi enters the real estate agency. At that moment, Xiaoqian threatens him, telling him to take this chance to kneel down and apologize. She will consider his case, but if he doesn't do that, he can forget about marrying her. Susan just looks back and stares at the two, who run away scared inside the real estate office. The clerk offers him some water, saying he's going to buy his house. Now, what does he think? The real estate guy's plan is simple. The Sushi's house is worth $1 million, but now he's selling it for $700,000. All he needs to do is buy it and sell it to someone else, and he'll make a good profit. The Sushi says he agrees to sell, but he has to receive the full payment now. The guy agrees, saying they will transfer everything and that by tomorrow morning it will be settled. The Sushi accepts, obviously, because the houses will lose all their value. Even though several disasters are happening, this city is still peaceful for now. The volcanoes, earthquakes, and tsunamis are still all far from here. Walking down the street, he sees a poster advertising quick loans. He decides to go there with his house certificate and, upon arriving, is shocked. It's the older brother of the guy who killed him. He remembers that this guy will die in a monster's mouth in the first few days. The guy says he can lend $500,000, just leave the house certificate. The Sushi hands over the certificate, saying he wants another $100,000, and he promises he will win it all back at the casino within a week. The lender likes to hear that, thinking, this kid must be one of those gamblers who would even sell his relatives, if necessary. That way, he won't be able to pay. We'll keep the house, and he'll still have a ton of debt. With that, the guy agrees, and $600,000 are transferred. Xiaochuan is angry, along with Wong, who says he's going to make him pay the price for this, since they were going to visit Wong's brother, and our silver just left there. They see him, Wong. He wants to know what this guy is doing here, already with his hand on his neck. Terrified, they decide to follow him. Sushi remembers that several buildings will collapse because of the tsunamis, but this Green City Hotel withstood all disasters until the end. He knows the presidential suite is well equipped and even has a pool. Maybe it's a good place to use as a base for a while, after all. At the end of times, this place will still have food for quite some time. He is then greeted by the receptionist, Lu Xinhui, who asks what she can do for him. Sushi says he wants 1,000 tables for a banquet, and she is shocked. She offers some table options while thinking, my God, this boy must be the son of someone very rich. He says he wants the table. That costs $10,000 per table and will make a deposit of $500,000. When everything is settled, he will pay the rest. She is a bit incredulous, but says to just follow her to make the payment. Thinking that, even though this payment isn't that much yet, someone who spends 500,000 like that definitely has more to spend, so it's best she makes the process easy. Upon entering the room, she asks if he's getting married, and he says yes. All this is for a wedding, so she also helps him get the presidential suite. Sometime later, he's leaving the hotel all happy, having secured more than 10 million worth of food, spending 500,000 on the deposit, and the rest doesn't matter, since the apocalypse is about to start, and the ice blocks he'll have will be worth billions. Watching him leave, she thinks whoever is marrying him is a lucky girl. At that moment, Aokian appears and asks what that person was doing. The receptionist asks who she is, and she says she's Sushi's girlfriend. The receptionist then says that her boyfriend ordered a banquet for over 1,000 people and paid 500,000 for her to have a boyfriend like him. She really is a lucky girl. However, the receptionist is looking and thinking. This girl is at most a 7 out of 10, but she has a good body. Why do rich guys always like women like that? However, Xiao Yin and Yang were startled. Calm down, a 10 million banquet. The attendant says that's the case. And maybe she didn't realize it, but there are a lot of rich people who do this. They enter relationships and hide all the money they have. Until the wedding day, Rachel. Kian starts to believe it, and Hank keeps thinking it's impossible for that loser to have so much money. However, the attendant shows that she received the transfer of 500,000. On the street, Raoul and Wang are asking her who it was. Could he be inviting her to a banquet for 1,000 people? Now Xiao Qian is all confident, saying, "You really don't understand, do you? He wants to introduce me to the millionaire's circle he knows. Only then will he reveal my identity." Wang wants to become a climber and venture into the mountains. But she stops right there, thinking she has to create as many opportunities as possible to stay with that loser, already imagining herself rich, sitting in a chair, being pampered. Her eyes even sparkle. She never imagined this scenario. She will definitely have to marry the sushi loser. And that's really good. Meanwhile, the sushi guy is just doing the math on what he has already done. 700,000 for the house, plus 600,000 in loans, and 500,000 for the banquet. And now that his name is about to get tarnished, taking out a bunch more loans wouldn't be bad. So he installs all the banking apps on his phone and starts taking out a bunch more loans. After creating more than 80 accounts, he managed to get 970,000 more. Now he needs to buy a fireplace, an ice maker, ice blocks, smokeless charcoal, and some other things that aren't available in the markets. With the amount of money he has now, buying online with fast delivery is easy. These items are essential to survive. Due to the extreme cold and heat that will occur, he orders 2,000 tons of smokeless coal. He also calls an ice factory to make a reservation. While he is walking down the street, a girl calls out to him. She's a friend of Shao Kahn, and she says that Shao Kahn misses him. However, Sushi knows that this girl is not a good person and has always spoken badly about everyone. He then says to her, "Missing me? She must be missing my house, right?" Lena looks at Shao Kahn and says that Sushi must be testing her. She has to realize how sad he became because of the way she has been acting. Shao Kahn then runs to Sushi to apologize, feeling embarrassed, asking, could he accompany her for a walk? She's not feeling well. She was sad about having fought with him yesterday, but Sushi ignores her and tells her to walk alone. Shelkin is losing her mind, saying he is being too arrogant. Lena says he is taking a taxi. It's good for them to follow and see what he wants to do. While Sushi is arriving at the ice factory, the guy receives him. He is impressed that he is so young, and Sushi asks if the 2,000 tons of edible ice are ready. The attendant says his factory is not very cheap, but guarantees extremely fast delivery. He only needs to pay a small part of the amount, and they deliver everything. Big Sushi transfers 100,000 to him, and the seller warns that everything will be delivered in 3 days, seeing the money. The attendant asks why he needs so much ice. Is he going to hold some event? If he wants, they can cooperate in the future. The price is negotiable. The sushi chef says it's all for a charity event and leaves. At that moment, another taxi arrives there, and the guy gets excited. However, Shao Kahn wants to know who that guy is, what he was doing here. Is he her boyfriend? The seller is confused. This girl is playing detective. What is going on here? He says he ordered 800,000 worth of ice. The two are shocked. 800,000 worth of ice. Only a millionaire could really do something like this. Lena asks, did he tell you what he's going to do with so much ice? The seller thinks and remembers. He said he's going to donate it to charity. Both of them freeze, not understanding anything. The scene changes to one of the fanciest restaurants in the city. In his past life, he never enjoyed anything. Before everything was destroyed, even having coffee was a luxury. Looking at the menu, he sees everything is quite expensive, and on the last page, there's something priced at 17,000, but with a question mark. He asks what it is, and the waitress says it's a special item made by their chef. The sushi guy says it sounds good and accepts the order. He remembers that, in his past life, many creatures mutated. Some people thought it was some kind of biological change, but to him, it was just creatures adapting to the new environment. At that moment, a pink-haired girl comes to deliver his order. Hee dude, she's a good friend. She introduces herself as the head chef of this restaurant, and Sujin seems to recognize her. The chef of Anya no Apocalypse. She became known as the chef of hell. She had some kind of magical culinary ability that turned corpses into edible things. And in a world of scarcity, no one could resist the temptation. However, foods made from mutated creatures always cause people to die. Seeing his expression, she wonders, does he really think a pretty girl like me would poison his food? Then she tells him that the dish she served is called Two-Faced Life. It's meat prepared differently on each side. The sushi guy tastes it and says it's really worth the 17,000 while thinking it would be wonderful to have her at home to cook. Outside, there's talk that this restaurant is insanely expensive. And what do you think? I haven't seen the time to become a rich wife. So, I decided to go to one of the most expensive bars in the city, since soon that won't be possible anymore. As soon as he sits down, a bunch of girls surround him. Asking what he wants to drink, he starts drinking with them. And when he looks to the side, there's a girl sitting there. Her friend says she was cheated on by her boyfriend, and she came here to have some fun. The girl says her boyfriend didn't even sleep with her, and he still cheated on her with an older woman. Why do all men act like that? The sushi chef says it's because the desire to reproduce is something engraved in men's minds. Suddenly, she flips the whole glass and asks if he's single. He gets confused, but she moves closer and asks if he's interested. At that moment, Shelly and Lena just enter the bar looking for him. And at the corner table, they see him there with the three girls and the other leaning nearby. The sushi chef tells her they can go up to a room, and she seems to accept, and the two run off. While the desire is strong, Chelkin and Lena shout for him to stop, but the two run to the room. He goes in, closes the door. He apologizes to her for those two. The girl shyly says it's her first time, and the guy gets a bit awkward and flicks her forehead, saying she must be drunk to do something like that. He warns her not to leave the house in the next few days and to rest as much food as possible. She says she understands. Besides that, a girl like her shouldn't be in a place like this. With that, he closes the door and leaves thinking it's a shame. But he won't be able to take advantage of this opportunity when he leaves the room. Xiaomi and Alina are kicking every door, but he just walks out easily. And the next day, he's going to receive all the delivery trucks, from ice, charcoal, and even banquets. Wang is confused in the middle of the crowd, wondering why that damn sushi chef rented a giant warehouse just to receive so many things. And now even Xiao Qian is getting confused, wondering what he's doing. At that moment, over there at the end, the banquet from the Green City Hotel arrived. They're laying carpets and organizing all the tables beautifully. Could it be that suddenly a bunch of people will arrive and he will confess to her and propose marriage? I found a guy. Now he's all arrogant, saying that even if he proposes, she will still think about his case. Now, the two have to see his sincerity. Let's go talk to him. So she goes up to the sushi chef and asks why he's buying so many things. The sushi chef says he'll explain later. But can she help him organize everything? Chelsea is shocked, thinking he's a damn guy for making a girl who will soon become rich do such hard work. Lena says it must be some kind of test to see if she's qualified to become a rich girl. At that moment, Xiaomi changes her attitude and says she's not that kind of weak woman. She knows how to be delicate, but she also knows how to work, and starts carrying the boxes, but she's furious, saying that when she becomes a rich woman, this sushi chef will pay. At that time, Lena comes over, kind of tries to seduce him too, saying she'll help carry the boxes on her head. She's sure that someone as rich as him won't have just one woman, right? As long as she shows a little of what she has to offer, she'll at least get to enjoy a bit. Meanwhile, the sushi chef is thinking he can't lose free labor like this, especially with so much ice and tables to arrange. He will really need some help. Some time passes, and they finally finish everything. Xiao Qian is dripping with sweat, and her legs are trembling. She said she's been carrying stuff since morning. Until now, as soon as she becomes his wife, she'll make sure to get all his money. Lena, collapsed on the floor, is exhausted too, saying that the bastard really made them carry those heavy ice boxes. Chelkiam says enough of this test. But he can't just ask her to marry him and start the party right away. The guests will arrive, and Lena says he needs to hurry, since the food is getting cold. Meanwhile, Sushi Hen gave a good amount of money to all the delivery people, who thanked him from the bottom of their hearts. At that moment, Xiaokong comes and asks, Sushi Hen, don't you have something to tell me? The Sushi Hen said yes. He thanks them for the help, but unfortunately there is no payment for them, so they can leave now. Xiao Gan is startled and tells him to stop joking. The guests are already arriving, not to mention that it's been 1,000 months. Why doesn't he just reveal that he wants to marry her? For them to have a good life, Sushi looks back and says that for him, that's impossible, especially since he already sold the house and accumulated a pile of debts. Does she really want to marry him? Lena says that's impossible. How could someone who's broke buy so many blocks of ice? Sushi says he's just doing all this to help his boss, who is very rich and wants to start a charity project. What does she think? One loses his temper in anger and attacks him, saying he's been lying to her all this time. He dodges and asks, "What lie am I telling?" She falls to the ground with a monstrous face, saying he's really a broke loser. Forget about marrying her. Sushi says he's not interested in that at all. She, angry, then leaves saying he's a bastard and will regret it. When the two leave, he thinks they're the ones who will regret it. As soon as the apocalypse starts, he closes the warehouse door to begin storing everything in his space. With that, all the preparations are finally ready. The scene shifts to the hotel with Wang Dahi, the guy he borrowed money from. Wang pulls Sean aside and tells her not to pay any more attention to that loser Sushi. She should really be with him all the time. She's biting her lip there, saying she's looking forward to his performance. And Wang tells her not to worry, he'll ask his brother to deal with that guy for her. Xiaogan thinks that Wang really isn't so bad after all. Besides, his brother is very influential. He really is better than that loser. At that moment, from behind, Sushi says she really throws herself at anyone. She's startled and asks what he's doing there, while Wang points at him and says to the Sushi says that she really throws herself at anyone. She's startled and asks what he's doing there, while Wang points at him and tells the brother, "Who was that guy who hit him?" The one from High says he didn't expect it to be this guy here, and Wang asks if he knows that guy, the one from RA. He explains that this boy borrowed 600,000 from him and has to pay it back by tomorrow. Wang says that's perfect. They can settle both things. While Xiao Qian is now happy, saying he really got rid of a loser, especially one who owes money to Rai's brother. Sushi says it's really impossible to have a good meal at that place, and Razgai reminds him the payment is due tomorrow. Why is he here at this hotel, acting like everything is calm? Wang shouts, telling his brother not to talk to this guy since he hit him. Xingwu then appears and asks what's going on, if they can settle it. Dai says if she forces that boy over there to kneel and apologize, they can let it slide for today. Xingwu then asks him what's happening. He says they're just some pests causing trouble. Razgai then slams the table, saying he was only calm because his payment is tomorrow. However, from afar, a man with a goatee asks what's going on and who let him cause trouble here. Sushi and Dahai recognize this man as Gao Qiyang, and Dahai starts apologizing, asking what he's doing here. Gao Qiyang says he has important business to settle here today and that he's not here to cause trouble. Dahai knows this man is an entrepreneur but involved in many underworld activities, and he has a lot of people under his command, so it's really not good to go against him. With that, he apologizes and says he'll come back later. Sushi recognizes this guy as Skullcrusher. In the apocalypse, this guy became one of the most powerful forces and even had the Helm Mistress working for him. Sujian remembers that this hotel was one of the first places where some people with mutations appeared, and maybe that's how he got so strong. Gao Qiang is just staring at him, while Sushi thinks the entire opportunity of this hotel now belongs to him. Sometime later, Gao Yang is taking Duan to meet a certain Mr. Sun, and she asks what this guy wants to discuss with her. Mr. Sun said he was eager to meet the wonderful Miss Duan, and then serves her a drink. The guy has a famous bald spot, and Duan recognizes that something is wrong with that glass, which clearly has a little drug inside. Meanwhile, Sushi remembers that in his past life, he hid in the basement with Shao Kahn and barely survived. He never expected that in this life, he would kick her out and she would still follow him here. However, this is the perfect opportunity for revenge, looking at the pool, where the two brothers are going to cool off, saying that tonight is strangely hot. But it's totally worth it, since the girls will come in bikinis. They then appear and look at the moon, saying it's strangely bright. It's shining as much as the sun during the day. At that moment, Wang goes over and declares all his love to her while Sushi in the room says their love is really about to explode. With the glass raised to the moon, he welcomes the apocalypse. The moon then starts to tremble and emits a red aura. Everyone outside feels something strange, and their skin begins to burn. They start running, trying to get back to the hotel, saying something is wrong because the moonlight is burning so much. Inside the hotel, the people are confused. It's night, but it's very bright. At this moment, the three are running and everyone is scared. Their skin is already red. They are desperate, looking for somewhere to cool off. They need water. They then see an aquarium, run over, turn it over, and jump inside to cool off. The hotel staff ask what is happening and where Rai's brother is at this moment. Looking for somewhere to cool off. They need water. They then see an aquarium, run out, turn it over, and jump inside to cool off. The hotel staff asks what's going on. And where is Rai's brother at this moment? Ong remembers his brother who appears at the door with his skin completely burned. In the room, Mr. Sam, asking Duan why she isn't drinking the wine. Ong says they prepared a feast, so why don't they go there now? However, Mr. Sam tells him that in this city, no one can refuse to drink the wine I put in their glass. Duan gets angry, thinking that the damn Goxiang set her up. He wants so badly to raise his social status that he handed her over to this Mr. Sam. She knows this scoundrel very well. He's an unbeatable guy in the city of Shango, and he has harmed many women, and today she became his target. She is absolutely sure there is something wrong with this wine, so she can't drink it. But what is she going to do? At that moment, the moon starts burning the three of them. They close the curtain, wondering what is happening. Mr. Sam says it's better for them to go downstairs to understand better, and Duan feels relieved to escape the situation. In the lobby, Xinyue is trying to calm everyone down, saying that the rescue teams should be coming. Goxiang asks one of his henchmen, "What's going on? Explain it to me." Suddenly, the moon shone red, and the temperature outside rose more than 70 degrees. The news is already reporting many people who got hurt and were burned. Mr. Sam calls the minister and asks them to send someone to take him. However, he tells Goxiang that, unfortunately, it seems they're having some problems and won't be able to. Meanwhile, Da is dying from pain with his entire skin burned. People are trying to apply some burn ointments, but it's not enough. Not to mention, he needs to be taken to a hospital, but with all this heat outside, it will be impossible. He said he will call a friend to come get him. The friend answers the phone, saying this is kind of sudden, but okay, he's coming. From the moment he leaves the garage, he sees the moon shining too brightly and feels confused. The heat is so intense that the tires burst. He gets out of the car and tells his friend he'll be late. And he starts running, but the sole of his shoe melts, and he slips and falls to the ground. Looking to the side, he sees another person fallen who is already completely melted. He gets startled and tries to get up when half of his face is already on the asphalt. He lets out a scream, and everyone in the hotel is shocked. During the call, he drops his phone. While all this is happening, our protagonist is in his room with controlled temperature. He is lying in bed, sleeping peacefully. Meanwhile, the government is already making announcements due to the intense heat emitted by the moon, with temperatures rising more than 75 degrees and the ground reaching over 100. The event has already resulted in hundreds of casualties. Please stay indoors to avoid burns on your skin and respiratory system. At this moment, one of the power plants explodes because of the excessive heat, cutting off part of the communications. Rai's contact says he lost connection with his friends, while everyone is in the last remaining room of the hotel. Ake, Kian, and Alanado complain, saying they would never stay in a room full of men. However, suddenly, the power goes out. With that, the air conditioning also stops working, and everyone starts taking off their shirts, dying from the heat. Ake, Guyan, remembers that the sushi room has a pool. Meanwhile, our protagonist is swimming calmly. He already knew the power would go out because of the explosion at the energy suppliers, and that was also why he specifically chose a room with a pool, in addition to vertical air conditioners and giant batteries to maintain the temperature, but he's still missing some ice here. He changes clothes, sits on the sofa, thinking it's very comfortable now. He's hungry, so he sets a feast on the table. Since it's the first day of the apocalypse, he needs a small breakfast. While wondering when that Gao Qiang with the goatee, he will have the chance to gain the powers. At that moment, someone knocks on the door, saying they know he is inside. He knows that, with the power to teleport, and the preparations he made, he doesn't need to worry. So, to cause anger and envy, he decides to open the room. As soon as the door begins to open, a cold air comes out and they all get scared. Because it seems so comfortable inside. And why? Does he have air conditioning? The sushi asks if they need anything. Wong points, saying he has ice, a pool, food, and electricity. Alina and Xiao Quan start yelling at him, asking how he has the nerve to leave them, burning outside all day while he's here living in luxury. You better get out of that room now, Durai tells him. The time to pay everything he owed has come, so he better give up that room. But the moment he steps into the room, he gets shot in the stomach. Durai gets scared when he sees the wound, and the sushi says, if you take one more step, you die. Everyone is trembling now. Wait, he really has a gun. Durai gets furious, asking where he got it. However, another shot is heard in the room. Everyone gets scared when Durai falls to the ground, now with a leg wound. The sushi points outside, saying whoever wants to die, just stay there. He will count to 3, and whoever is in his line of sight will get shot. Meanwhile, Gawkyang is talking to Shin Rue, asking how it's possible for such a big hotel to have no food. She apologizes, saying there was recently a banquet for more than 1,000 people, and the ingredients and food were scheduled to arrive today. At that moment, Mr. Sam, pouring water on his body, says for her to bring all the water and food they have now. All the families start getting angry about the water waste he's causing, and a fight breaks out in the lobby. At that moment, the one from the route arrives with injuries, and all of them warn that Sushi shot someone. Seeing the wound, Gao Qiang gets confused. There really is someone with a gun in this place. It seems like there's some tough guy living upstairs, Qiang thought. Then he tells everyone that in Sushi's room there is electricity, air conditioning, and even a swimming pool. The crowd surrounds her, asking if she isn't lying. She is sure. She said yes. They can believe it. He even has an ice cube and a bunch of food. So the people decide to all go to his room, while Gao Qiang sends one of his henchmen to take another look. He opens the door asking what they want. Everyone feels the cold air, refreshing, touching their skin. It seems like inside is a relaxing paradise. The crowd is outside, asking him to be kind and take care of the elders. And since it's an emergency for the hotel, he should share everything he has with everyone. And the little kid sees some fried chicken and jumps to grab it. However, he is immediately stopped with a kick to the stomach, which sends him flying. Ejected. Sushi warns the parents to watch their children, or he'll have to take care of them. The people are outraged, saying how dare he hit a child. He really is a killer. He doesn't deserve to stay in that room, and everyone rushes forward. But at that moment, he shoots the guy in the back, who falls hard. Sushi warns, he may be alone, but each one there only has one life. He knows the situation seems dangerous, but at any moment, he can jump into the portal and disappear from the place. Downstairs, Wong is furious. After his brother was shot twice, the people threw his body outside. That's because he was already dying and rotting. Wong is furious, saying they have to kill that damn Suchin. Meanwhile, in Suchin's room, Kian and Lenateo asked to come in, saying they are sure he wouldn't have the courage to shoot them, and that they love him very much, and are sure he loves them if he lets them stay there a little longer. They promise to stay with them all night. Sushi says that since they want to work together with such determination, he will let them in. They become very happy and incredulous. Suddenly Wong passes between the two, hitting her and saying he will kill him. Just as he is about to touch Sushi, he takes a hit right in. The face collides with the two, and everyone falls to the ground. Seeing Wong battered in their arms, they become afraid to enter the room. Sushi then says, "Get out of here, they're leaving." And he says he's just joking. If anyone tried anything, the artillery robot he has installed would solve everything in seconds. Tanks are seen outside the hotel, and everyone believes it's the rescue team. They leave armed and wearing protective gear. Upon entering the hotel, they ask if someone named Liao Zingwoda is there. The guy introduces himself, and they then tell him to put on the insulation suit and come with them. Everyone, obviously, asks to be rescued together, but the soldier tells them to stay calm. The rescue operation will take place tonight at midnight in Silicon Valley Square. The group celebrates, saying the government really hasn't abandoned them. Meanwhile, Mr. Sam says he'll pay $1 billion if they take him now, but he's restrained by one of the soldiers, who tells him not to interfere with the operation. Mr. Sam tells Gao Qiang to do something, but clearly, with so many weapons pointed at him, there's no way. At that moment, they find Gao Qiang, grab him from the soldiers, and say there's a killer living upstairs. Alina says he's already killed a lot of people and will soon finish everyone here. They need to save the people in the hotel. A soldier, then called Xiao Feng, says he will check it out, and his friend tells him to be careful and not act impulsively. He takes his gun and starts going up the stairs toward the room. Meanwhile, Xiao Qian is thinking this is the perfect situation. As soon as this guy kills Xu, she will steal that room for herself. Xiao Feng cautiously walks down the corridor, watching every corner, until he notices a camera watching him. Suddenly, the sushi guy opens the door and throws a flashbang. Before he can understand what was happening, it explodes in his face. He goes blind. Tear gas falls at his feet. When he crouches down, the sushi guy comes from behind and hits him on the head. Sometime later, he wakes up in a room, not understanding what is going on. And why is it so cold? The sushi guy tells him, "Your name is Lu Xiaofeng, a captain of the special forces. Now that you're awake, let's talk." Xiaofeng looks to the side, seeing the ice cubes, and asks, "What is going on here? And who is he besides that? Where did he get those grenades and weapons?" Xiaofeng says he is a normal boy who just graduated, and he got those weapons on a trip to the Middle East. The sushi guy then asks if the government set up the rescue points for tomorrow morning, and Xiao Feng is shocked that he already knows that information. The sushi guy remembers that everything will apparently be the same as in the past life, and warns Xiao Feng that, although the temperature is lower with the moon, people can't endure more than 10 minutes outside the house. The vast majority will die just trying to reach the rescue point. Feng says they have no choice. Many people are starving in their homes and can't stand the heat anymore. Their only chance is to reach the rescue point. And since it's difficult to modify the vehicles, there's no time to rescue everyone inside their homes. At least, if they put some blankets over their heads, maybe they can make it. Then suddenly the sushi guy puts his hand on his shoulder and points the gun. He pulls Feng, then asks him to stay calm. All he wants is to at least warn about the blankets. The sushi guy then cuts the rope and says he's free. He respects that he's trying to save lives, but it's best if he doesn't try to come in here again. Xiao Feng says, "Aren't you afraid I'll come back here with others?" The sushi guy shows him, "There's no reason for me to be afraid," and Xiao Feng recognizes it immediately. It is a camera with facial recognition and a built-in automatic machine gun, and he wants to know where Xu Shine got it from. Sushi says he already said the Middle Origin. Now he better get out of the room, because he no longer has time to deal with this. Xiao Feng agrees and leaves. Back at the tank, Mr. Sam gets angry, thinking that not even the damn soldier could handle the guy. He hits the branch that Ian, saying he really can't do anything. Ian's henchmen ask if they really won't do anything and will keep tolerating. This guy, the gaucho, explains, after everyone is rescued, they will still need the connections. It's dangerous to act now, at this moment. Sushi appears and says, "In times of chaos, you're still dreaming of restoring order." The henchman gets angry, but the gaucho tells him to calm down and asks why Sushi came down. Sushi then shows a bucket of ice, saying he came here to negotiate. The henchman tells Galang that it's best to kill this kid quickly and take everything he has in the room. But Sushi points the gun, and then the guy raises his arm. The gaucho then tells them to talk business and hands the edible ice to both, who upon eating it, are impressed by how delicious it is. Gaoqiang now also wants to kill Sushi to take everything he has. But first they will meet his demands. At that moment, Mr. Sam kicks him in the stomach, saying he's a bastard for hiding those ice cubes. Starts stepping on him, saying that if he hides anything else, he will die. Guan Qiang is losing his mind, and Mr. Sam sees Duan sitting, saying she's a very modest girl. Everyone is about to die from the heat, and she still hasn't had the courage to take off her clothes, but he grabs her arm, saying he's tired of seeing her attitude and that he's in the mood to do certain things. So she'd better follow him. Dwayne slaps him in the face, calling him a bastard, but Sam suddenly tears her shirt, saying that because of her disobedience, he's going to enjoy himself first, and then everyone else can do whatever they want. She falls to the ground, and he says she's sweating a lot. He's just doing her a favor when Gao Qiyang appears behind him, saying that's enough. Mr. Sam turns to say something, but Gao Qiyang punches him in the neck and breaks it instantly. He falls to the ground dead, and Gao Cheng says Sushi is right. This place really is chaos now, and people like him have to die along with it. Then he announces that from now on, this place is under his control. Anyone who refuses to obey will either go to the rescue point or die here. Upstairs, Sushi observes, saying that apparently his words were effective. Gao Qiang was already the boss of this place in his past life, so he just sped things up, and with that, the two were judged and kicked out. Gao Qiang then starts drinking the ice that Sushi gave him, while Xiao Qiang and Lena beg for a piece, saying he'll do whatever he wants. He throws some to them, saying it's okay, but they better obey any demand. His henchman asks if they're not going to the rescue point, and Gao Chinha says it's too far. There's no guarantee they'll arrive alive. The henchman tells him they're running out of supplies. So why does he want those women? Gao Sheng says it's all part of a plan to deal with Su Jin at midnight. Then Alina and Xiao Chuan try to leave, covering themselves with blankets, but the henchman comes and rips them off. Xiao Chuan asks what he thinks he's doing, but the henchman warns that now that they have the ice, they'll have to stay with him there for a while. The people who decided not to obey Gao Chou, since he wasn't providing supplies, are trying to reach the rescue point. However, even though it is midnight, the ground is much hotter than they expected. They're trying to protect their feet with a piece of wood, but this makes walking difficult, and one of them ends up tripping and touching the ground. His hand and face melt, and he is left behind to die, while Haika's body was burning on the ground until that moment. He wakes up with red eyes from the balcony. Su Xian watches everything, remembering that, in his past life, he almost died on the same walk. Rachel, Kian, and Alina say they can do whatever they want with him. But why don't they at least go to the room? The henchman says they are being very shy. There is no reason to try to hide, but suddenly the glass shatters, and the two chubby ones who were burned run in after everyone. Wang thinks they are zombies and wonders if they will also turn if bitten. Gogon says they need to find out. Then he grabs him by the neck and throws him onto the two behind Wang's back. The burns happen just by coming into contact with the creatures. Meanwhile, Sushi appears with a blade and tells everyone to get out of the way. The henchman is incredulous that he wants to deal with these monsters, and the big guy is eager. As soon as he kills the two, he will kill Sushi and take everything from him. Sushi knows that bodies exposed to heat turn into zombies, but they don't share any virus. You could say they're more like drought demons. The difference is that these demons retain some memories from their past life. Sushi stands still, and Mr. Sam passes by him and heads toward Gawkin. That is because he was killed by him. But Rise Wong was killed by Suchin, who attacks him. However, seeing the situation, he is sure that Gawkin's chance to awaken some power is by killing Lord Sam. So he moves in and cuts off his chance. A purple crystal comes out from inside the body, and that is a kind of core that can evolve. A human body. He grabs the crystal, jumps back, and pushes Rai onto everyone. With that, he climbs the stairs and tells them to have fun. Gawkyang grabs the guy on the floor again and throws him toward the beast. Back in his room, Sushi says these crystals are extremely rare. He puts one in a glass and drinks it. This is the method of absorption. The body extracts energy from the crystal and grows stronger. His eye turns red. He starts screaming. All his clothes are torn apart. He falls to the floor onto a block of ice. Meanwhile, in the lobby, the drought demon has broken all their water supplies. Now, with nothing to drink or eat, Lina wants to escape. However, the henchman stops her, saying she won't get away. At that moment, Lina tells them to use Shao Kong. She was Sushi's wife, and if they throw her at the door, it's certain he will open it. Then they could try to steal something from him. The henchman says it's a great idea. Shao Kong says she'll help. However, she wants to eat meat first. The henchman says there's no meat. The refrigerators have been off for days. Gakana looks at her and asks if she wants meat. So, they capture Lina, and he warns her that if she wants it, she'll have to do this. Xiaoyan is shocked. Wait, are you saying to eat her meat? Lina is trembling, but Xiaoyan is already heading toward her. Lina begs, wait, what are you doing? You're not going to do this, right? However, Xiaoyan goes up to her face and says she's just been betrayed. Since she did that, she then strikes 3 times. Gaucho and the henchman are even scared seeing how without hesitation she did that. Gaucho is going crazy, saying that once she's full, she'll go up and drink Sushi's blood. Huh? The henchman looks at Gaucho and asks if they're really going to do that. Gaucho says to call the ringleaders soon, or it will dry up. Meanwhile, in the room, Sushi is jumping all over with his new body. Not only does he seem more resistant to heat, but he's also more agile and strong. At that moment, he sees Duan standing at his door, blocking the entrance. She's thinking that downstairs is turning into madness. She has no chance of surviving if she stays there. She has to try her luck and use what she has left to get something here. Well, at that moment, Sushi arrives and opens the door completely naked. And she gets startled. She screams, and he apologizes, saying it was unintentional. He was excited. He then tells her that, although he has resources, they are limited. Besides, they just met, and he can't accept her just because she's beautiful, right? He remembers that, in her past life, she was a very intelligent woman. Moreover, she formed a cooperative relationship with Gaucho. However, even though he had thought about having her around, the atmosphere became awkward. Now Dawn tells him that she cooks as a hobby. Actually, She's a doctor who has worked as a surgeon for 3 years. She is thinking that his room is extremely well equipped. Not only does it have electricity, ice, and food, she needs to show her value. To be able to stay on the sofa here. Sushi says it really is a good proposal, her being a doctor. However, as she knows, resources are extremely scarce and uncertain. They will survive until tomorrow. She's shocked by that, and says that as long as he doesn't kick her out of the room, she will do whatever he wants. Hearing this proposal, Sushi says it will be her new home. She feels embarrassed, saying she said that a bit hastily, unintentionally. Sushi, however, warns her that the only choice she has is to behave. If he notices she has any other motive, their relationship ends. Doan says she understands, and that she will never doubt any of his methods or determination. Sushi then says she can show her determination by taking off her clothes, and she feels embarrassed, asking if he doesn't want to first write for this video. Guys, haha, be honest, folks. Yes, I didn't plan this, no, but I covered the 10 chapters that exist. I looked in China, searched the whole world, and really they're only those, man. The last one was released 1 day ago, so that's it, my warriors. When there are more, I'll bring the continuation to you. If you liked it, stay alert, that sneaky phone over there.